One thing that you see a lot in the news is that tuition is out of control. The amount that colleges are charging for tuition is rising astronomically. And at the end of the lecture today, we'll talk about is that true or false. But let's first to show why that's the case. Why do we think it's happening? Well, let's suppose that we're back here, where here is the price for college, and here's the quantity, the number of students going to college. Well, as the demand increases, notice what happens to the price of college. Well, here the price goes up. So does the quantity. The number of students going to college will increase. So we'll get a new price and quantity. Well, what happens when that demand continues to increase? As more and more people want to go to college, as the returns to college get better and better, we see the quantity supplied increase dramatically, but we also see the price that people are paying going to college increases dramatically as well. So that's the scenario we want to look at. So when we talk about why is tuition rising over time, well, it's simply a demand story. More people are demanding to go to college, more kids are going to college, more consumers want to go to college, so it raises the price and raises the quantity. Well, if that's the case, let's look at a possible solution to that. Okay, so let's look at an example. So I'm going to erase all these words here just to show. All right, so here is an example of demand and supply for college. So in this scenario, here is our quantity in equilibrium, and here's our price in equilibrium. Well, let's suppose we just say, as a government or as a university, that price is too high. We don't want to charge our students that price. We want to charge our students a lower price. Or to say that no matter what happens, demand shifts out, supply shifts in, whatever happens, we're not going to charge that price. We're going to charge a lower price for tuition. So let's assume that we're going to put a cap on what can be charged for tuition. So we'll call this P hat, meaning that the price of college cannot exceed this price. Well, in this scenario, at a lower price in equilibrium, at that price, right here, this is going to be the quantity demanded. At a lower price, more people want to go to college. But at that lower price, what we find is that fewer people want to go to college, or fewer people want to supply college, because colleges can't get enough tuition, so they can't grow or they can't maintain the same number of students. So at this price, notice here that quantity demand is greater than quantity supplied. This is what we call a shortage, meaning that a lot of people want to go to college, but there's very few seats available for them. And so the question then the school has to face was, how do we admit students? Well, before you could admit it just based on price. By raising the price, colleges would apply more seats, fewer people would go to college, and we'd reach equilibrium. But we can't allocate this good based on price, so we have to allocate it based on other things. High school GPA, ACT score, whatever it might be. This is going to lead us to an issue of shortage, is we don't have enough seats in college. When the price is below the equilibrium, or you can't raise above a certain price, we call this a price ceiling. And the result of the price ceiling is that the price is too low, which causes a shortage. Now, to defend colleges, one thing to note is the price of college increasing dramatically in recent years? The answer is no. Now, is the sticker price, is the amount that schools are charging tuition? Yes. Colleges are raising their tuition rates at very high levels, much higher than normal inflation. However, they're also giving a lot more scholarships. And so the actual price that students are paying is increasing much more in tune with inflation. So colleges raise their tuition. For example, SU raised their tuition to $8,000 a year, but they give everybody a $2,000 scholarship. The sticker price went up, but the actual price that students are paying does not change much. And so that's one thing that's happening with college tuition. But this model that we have here of the shortage A price ceiling on tuition would explain what might lead to a shortage in college, also leads to a shortage in other type goods.